Namaste. Hello, children. Today we are going to listen to a winter tale. This fairy tale originated from the Arctic regions, that is, the areas that were closer to the North Pole of this earth. In these countries, it is cold all through the year, and during winter, it is freezingly cold. In such a country, there lived a very old man with his 3 daughters. The old man was very poor. He lived in a nomadic camp. His tent or his tomb was completely worn, full of holes, and he didn't have any warm clothing. Very few clothing he had. And when the frost was very fierce, as in the winter times, the old man would huddle by the fire with his 3 daughters and try to keep warm. At night, before they go to bed, they have to put out the fire and they keep shivering like this until morning. One day, in the middle of winter, a terrible snowstorm came down on the tundra. The wind kept blowing, blowing, blowing. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, a fortnight, kept blowing. It was so fierce that all the tombs, it seemed that they would blow away. The people were afraid. They did not dare to come out of their tombs. They sat inside their tombs, freezing and hungry. So naturally, the old man and his daughters suffered a lot. They sat in the tomb and they kept listening to the howling storm until one day the old man called his daughters and said, "Listen to me, my daughters. We will never be able to survive this blizzard. It is very fierce. I know why this blizzard has come. It was sent to us by Kotura, the Lord of Winds." Excuse me, father. Are you trying to say that the blizzard was sent by a person? Asked his eldest daughter. Not just any person, my daughter. It is Kotura, the Lord of the Winds. He is overlording all the winds. He is a giant. He is an angel. He is angry, and that is why he had sent this blizzard. Then the second daughter asked him, "My father, why should he be angry?" "Daughter, it is our tradition that we usually send him a wife. It is time that we in our tribe had sent him a wife. We had not sent him, hence he is angry. So you, my eldest daughter, must go to Kotura, or else not only you but all the people will perish. So go to him and beg him to stop this blizzard." The eldest daughter thought a bit, slowly stood up. "Father, how can I go to him? You say that he is a giant, he is an angel, he is a divinely person. How do I know where he is living? I don't know the way." "My daughter, I will give you a little sledge. Place it so that it faces the wind. Give it a push and follow it. The wind will untie the strings of your coat, but don't stop to tie them. Then the snow will get into your shoes. but don't stop to shake them. Don't pause until you reach a tall mountain. You have to climb it. Then, when you have got to the top, you can stop a bit. You can tie the strings of your coat. You can shake your boots. By that time, a little bird will fly up to you and sit on your shoulder. Don't chase it away. Be kind to it. Then you get into your sledge and coast down the mountain on the other side. She climbed like this. Then she has to, coast down on the other side. The sledge will bring you straight to the door of the Kotura's tomb. Enter the tomb, but don't touch anything. Just sit there and wait. Kotura will come. He will tell you what to do. Do all that he tells you. The eldest daughter said, okay. She put on her furs, her coat. She took the sledge from her father, put it in the direction that faces the wind, and gave it a push. Then the sledge began to glide along. She walked after it. Remember, she is going against the wind. So the strings on her coat immediately came undone. The snow got into her boots. She was very, very cold. So she endured it for a bit. She couldn't bear it after a few paces. So she stopped, then tied the strings of her coat, then shook out the snow, and then she kept moving on. She walked a long time, and then she saw a big mountain. Then laboriously she climbed the mountain, and then she began once again to tie her coat and all that. By that time, a small bird came traipsing along and tried to perch on her shoulder. The eldest daughter, who was so tired and hungry, was irritated by this bird and waved her hands and chased it off. The bird circled around her for some time and flew up. Then the eldest daughter got into the sledge and she went down the mountain side, and the sledge stopped by a large tomb. The girl came into the tomb and looked around. The first thing that she saw was a large piece of roasted meat. She was so hungry, I told you. She immediately made up a fire, warmed herself, and she, sent some glances at the meat. After some time, she couldn't bear. She went and tore off a small piece from the meat and ate it. It was so good, so warm, that she took another piece, and she had completely eaten the entire meat. By that time, she heard someone coming into the tomb. The curtains in the door of the tomb, they were made of skins. It was lifted and a young giant entered. It was Kotura himself. He looked at the eldest daughter and asked, "Hey woman, where do you come from? And what do you want?" My daughter, my father, he sent me to you. Uh-huh. Why should he do that? So that I could take you as my wife. I mean, you could take me as your wife. Hmm. Okay. See, I was out hunting and I have brought back some meat. Okay, stand up now and cook it for me, Kotura said. The eldest daughter stood up. She cooked the meat very nicely. The meat was ready. Then Kotura told her, take it out of the pot, divide it into two equal parts. You and I will eat one half. You put the other half into a wooden dish. Take it to the neighboring tomb. Do not go into the tomb. Wait at the entrance. An old woman will come to you. Give her the meat. Then she will bring back the dish. Get the dish and then come. The eldest daughter took the meat and went outside. The wind was howling around her. The snow was falling everywhere. It had become dark. How can you find anything in such a storm? There were no neighboring tombs at all visible. So what the eldest daughter did was to walk a few paces, stopped and looked around. Now Kotura's tomb looked very small. She got afraid and came running back to Kotura's tomb, lighted, warm. Then again she took a few paces in the other direction. There was nothing but snow, snow and snow and snow everywhere. Then she slowly turned and looked at Kotura's tomb. It looked so small. So she got afraid, ran and came to the tomb. Then she was afraid. She didn't want to go at all. So what did she do was, she took the meat and threw it away in the snow. Then she came back and Kotura was watching. He called her, hey woman, did you give that meat to the neighbors? Yeah, yes, she said. Very good. Show me the dish. Did they give anything in return? Then the eldest daughter showed him the empty dish. Kotura looked at the dish, smiled to himself and said, okay, all right. He said. Then he ate his part of the meat and went to sleep. Next day morning, Kotura called the eldest daughter and he brought some deer skins and told her, see, listen, now I am going out for hunting. You dress these skins and make me a new coat and boots and mittens. I will put them on when I come back and see how clever you are with your fingers. With these words, the Kotura went off to hunt. Now the eldest daughter sat down and began to work. Suddenly, the hangings of skins at the entrance, they lifted and a grey-haired old lady came in. She squinted her eye and looked if anybody is there, and she saw the eldest daughter. Then she said, hello, girl, something has got into my eye. Could you please take it out? Girl, you, she called. Go away, I have no time to bother with you. I have a lot of work, answered the eldest daughter. I'm busy. The old woman looked at her, said nothing, turned away and went out. The eldest daughter was now left alone. She had no other botherings. So she dressed the skins hastily and then she began to cut it with a kitchen knife. Very late, she realized that she didn't have any tools to cut or sew the cloth. No? She did not ask for anything when Kotura went out. Then she tried to cut it with a knife, and then she found out a very old thread and needle. Then she had to sew them, and she was doing it hastily that she did a very clumsy job. Then Kotura came back and asked her, "Hey woman, are my clothes ready?" "Ah, they are." Then she brought the clothes. Kotura took the clothes, ran his hands over it. The skins were very rough to his touch. She had not dressed them quite well. The garments were poorly cut. They were sewn together carelessly. And then okay, he said, and he tried to put the coat on. It was too small for him. At this, he became very angry. Have you ever tried putting on a coat that is too small for you? For that matter, any cloth that is very tight? You get very angry and irritated, no? So, what Kotura did was to throw the eldest daughter out of the tomb, far and far out into the snow. And she froze to death. And the wind became fiercer and fiercer and fiercer. Meanwhile, the old man, he sat in his tomb, listening to the wind howling and the storm raging day by day. Finally, he said, "My eldest daughter did not do as I told her. That is why the wind is not stopping. Kotura is angry. You must go to him, my second daughter." The old man grieved for his first daughter for some time, and then, for the sake of everyone in his nomadic camp, he sent his second daughter also. He gave her a sledge and told all that he told his first daughter. The second daughter placed the sledge so that it faced the wind, and she began to follow it. Poor girl, she did all the mistakes that her sister had done. Then Kotura finally asked her also to make clothing out of skins. Then she gave her the clothes, and he saw that they were all badly cut. They seemed all askew, and the coat was so large. Again he flew into a rage and threw the second daughter into the snow, and she too froze to death. The old man waited and waited and waited. The storm did not grow calm. The wind only grew fiercer, and it seemed that the tombs will not last another night. They will all blow away. Then the old man sighed and said, "My second daughter also did not heed my words. Both of them have made the things worse. You, my last remaining daughter, you should also go to Kotura in the hope that he will take you as his wife. If not, all our people will perish from hunger. Would you do that?" The girl said, "Yes, father, I'll do that. I'm ready. I'll take the risk for you and for our people." Then he made the sledge and told her all that she had to do. The youngest daughter came out of the tomb and placed the sledge so that it faced the wind and sent it gliding with a push. The wind howled and roared. It tried to throw youngest daughter off her feet. The snow blinded her eyes, so she couldn't see, but still she plodded and plodded and plodded. The strings of her coat came undone, but she did not stop to tie them. Her boots was full of snow. She did not stop to shake them. She kept walking and walking and walking with great determination. She came to the tall mountain and climbed it up. She climbed to the very top of it. And then she stopped. Then she shook her boots and tied her coat. By the time, a little bird flew up to her and perched on her shoulder. She stroked it tenderly, and then the bird flew away. Then she again got into her sledge and coasted down the mountainside straight to Kotura's tomb. She went in and waited. She also saw there was cooked meat, but she did not touch the meat. She was standing there. Then after some time, the skins on the entrance they lifted and Kotura came in. He saw the youngest daughter and looked at her and said, "Hello, maiden, who are you? And why have you come to me?" "My father sent him to you, sir," she answered. "And why did he do that?" "To beg you to stop the storm. For if you don't stop the storm, all my people will perish," she said. "Okay. So why are you standing here? Why don't you make a fire and cook some meat? I'm hungry. You must be also hungry. I see that you have not eaten anything since you came." The youngest daughter got the meat from him and she cooked the meat. Then she took it out of the pot and gave it to Kotura. Kotura ate some of it and then told her, "Take half of the meat and go to the neighboring tomb. Give it to them. Wait. They will bring back the dish. Take it and come back." The youngest daughter said, "Okay." She took the dish of meat and went outside. The wind was roaring. The snow was falling. It was quite dark. Where would she go? Where was the neighboring tomb? Nothing was visible. Not even the nearby tree was visible. How would she find out the neighboring tomb? She went out a few paces, as her sisters have done, then looked around. There was nothing. But she kept on moving. Slowly, the tomb of Kotura vanished from her sight. She got very afraid, but she did not stop. She kept going. She did not know where she was going, but she kept going. Suddenly, she saw a small bird, the very same bird that had flown to her and sat on her shoulder. Then the bird came to her. Again it sat on her shoulder. Again she was very kind to it. And then the bird was gliding on the air, waiting. Then she thought for a moment. Instead of going aimlessly, why don't I follow this bird? So she began to follow it. Whichever way it flew, she also went. On and on and on she walked. Then she saw a spark of light. She was so happy that she ran towards it. So when she came near it, it was only it was not a tomb, but it was a mound. But there was smoke curling up from it. The youngest daughter slowly walked around the mound, kept prodding with her hand and foot, and finally she saw a door. Then she knocked it. Then a grey-haired old woman looked out. "Ah, who's that? Why have you come here?" "Grandma, I have brought some meat for you. Kotura asked me to give it to you," she said. "Ah, very well then. Let me have it." The youngest daughter gave the meat dish and stood outside waiting. It was a very long time, but she was standing there. She did not knock again. Standing. At last the door opened, and the old man and the old woman looked out. Ah, you're standing. Good. You are waiting. I'm sorry I took a long time. Take the dish, she said. There was something in the dish, but the girl could not make out what it was. It was so dark, So she just took the dish, and when she turned, the bird again came and guided her to Kotura's tomb. Kotura was awake. He looked at her. Ah, woman, why were you away so long? Did you find the tomb? Ah, yes, I did. Very good. Did you give them the meat? Yes. Show me the dish. Kotura looked, and he saw there were several knives in the dish, and steel needles and scrapers and breaks for dressing skins. Kotura laughed. They have given you some gifts. You will find them very useful. Keep the gifts, he said. Then the girl took the tools, and then both of them slept. Morning came and Kotura rose. He had brought some deer skins, and he called the youngest daughter. Women, make me a new coat, boots and mittens. You have to complete it by the evening. Then he went away. Then the youngest daughter set to work. The old woman's present now came very useful. She had all the tools that she wanted to make the clothes. So she began to dress the skin, scraping it and all. But she was not sure that she could do all the three by the evening itself in a single day. But she thought, okay, what is the use thinking? We will do what we can, and then we will give it to Kotura. Then she dressed the skins, scraped them, cut them, and she was doing all this. The skins in the entrance lifted, and an old woman came. The same old woman to whom she had taken the meal. My child, please come here. There is a mote in my eye. Please take it out for me. I cannot do it myself. It is so irritating. The youngest daughter immediately put aside all her work and came near her and took the mote out of the old woman's eye. Oh, thank you, said the old woman. My eye doesn't hurt anymore. Now, why don't you look in my right ear? The youngest daughter smiled. Look inside your right ear? Okay, I'll look, she said, and she looked in the old woman's ear and started. What do you see there? Asked the old woman. Grandma, there is a girl sitting in your ear, replied the youngest daughter. Why don't you call her? She will help you make Kotura's. Youngest daughter was overjoyed, and she called to the girl. At her call, not one, but 4 young girls came out of the old woman's ears, and they set to work with the girl. She directed them, and they dressed the skins, scraped them, cut them, sewed them together, and the garments were soon ready. Then the old woman put the 4 girls back into her ear, and then she went away. When it was evening, Kotura came back. Have you done all that I have told you to do? Yes, said the youngest daughter, and gave him the clothes. Kotura took them and passed his hand over the clothes. He could not take away his hands. It was so smooth, soft, pleasant. He put them on, and they were neither too small nor too large. They were perfect fit. And he could see that the sewing was very good. It was made to last. Kotura smiled. Youngest daughter, I like you very much. My mother and my 4 sisters like you too. You work well and you have courage. You braved a terrible storm in order that your people, your tribe might not perish. Very good, very good. I admire you very much. Be my wife. Stay with me in my tomb. And no sooner were the words spoken that the storm in the tundra was stilled. No longer did the people have to hide in their tombs. No longer did they freeze. One by one they came out. There was one more person who had come out, not out of their tombs, not out of his tombs, but out of the sky. Yes, the sun had come out, and it was golden light all over the place. And the people, everyone, rejoiced in the light and praised the youngest daughter and the old man.